Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today, I want to talk about a topic that I have been recommended so many times that it is actually ridiculous. I'm not kidding, I have literally been recommended this probably around 100 times, which is crazy for me because I've never been recommended anything even remotely close to that many times in any other topic. And the weirdest thing about it, and the reason why I haven't done it until this time, is because it doesn't make sense. In this video, I really want to drive home a fact about Wysteria that is probably going to change a lot of your perspectives and that I can tell a lot of people don't know because I keep getting recommended. Now, what is this thing that I keep getting recommended? Noah, what would Wysteria spells look like? Noah, why can't we learn spells from Wysteria? Wysteria has different schools of magic. Why can't we learn from them? All questions I get very frequently. Now today I want to go into why we don't learn those types of schools of magic, why we don't get any spells from Wysteria, and everything surrounding that so I can finally stop being asked the question, Noah, can we learn spells from Wysteria? So without further ado, let's get into it. Now the most important part about Wysteria that you need to understand is how it was formed and the lore behind it. So I'm going to give it to you. Now if you don't like lore, trust me, this isn't that big of a section. I just really need to hammer home why we don't learn spells from here, starting with this lore. So if I pull up the Pigswick papers, which if you don't know are the book quest from Wysteria, you can see here the founding of Pigswick Academy and how it worked. So I'm going to read this to you real quick. Volume 1, Founding. After his unceremonious dismissal from the Ravenwood School of Magic, Sir Bainbridge Pigswick devised a plan. He would create a school of his own where unorthodox and less common philosophy of magic would be taught. Pigswick squandered his inheritance and purchased a deserted, vine-covered city on the world of Wysteria. Where others saw a series of wrecked vine-choked buildings, Pigswick saw a magnificent school of the magical arts. Volume 2, Early Days. Pigswick staffed his academy with instructors drawn from across the spiral, hired for their willingness to relocate. Rather than the dusty, tried-and-true methods of teaching magic, Pigswick saw a new and less traditional approach. Pigswick students were among the finest of those willing and able to afford the academy's exceptionally high tuition. With lenient entry requirements, Pigswick is the primary school for students with lacking obvious magic ability. Volume 3, Education. The Pigswick method of magic instruction teaches that students should be exposed only to theoretical discussion. Actual magic and spellcasting is discouraged as vulgar and easy. The true path to magic is a restful attitude. For this reason, Pigswick students are given no homework, no studies, and spend most of their time taking naps. Well-rested students are eventually able to figure it out when it comes to the use of magic. Unfortunately, few Pigswick students ever become real wizards, and most enter other trades. Volume 4, Tournament. To spread the word of Pigswick educational innovations, Headmaster Pigswick started a magical tournament. Students representing all different schools of magic from across the spiral were invited to compete. The Spiral Cup was selected as the grand prize, a fitting symbol of magical supremacy and skill. Though in the past it has been won by Ravenwood and Mushu schools, for many years the cup has been claimed by Pigswick. Coincidentally, the years Pigswick won the Spiral Cup were also the years in which no other schools appeared to compete. So I hope that lore dump didn't bore you too much, but it was instrumental for my point of this video. So let me summarize exactly what I just read in simpler terms. The original Pigswick headmaster was a failure at magic. He did things unorthodoxically. He didn't like the strict Ravenwood school of magic and, fire, ice, storm, myth, life, death balance, and he wanted something different. He wanted something less focused on actual magic and more on the theory of magic. So what he did is he left the school, bought his own thing in Wysteria, which was overrun by vines, and built this beautiful looking school. This school hired professors from across the spiral who were willing to leave their jobs and come work here. This school has very lenient entry requirements, not actually requiring you to be able to do magic, but just simply having enough money to pay for it. The school doesn't actually have any real backing behind it. It is simply just kind of a place for Pigswick Academy students to hang out. There isn't anything particularly interesting or noteworthy about it. So why is this relevant and why did I talk about this in this video? Because this is the point. There is no schools of magic in Pigswick Academy. The schools that you see here and are introduced to, Ember, Chaos, Spirit, all of those schools are not real. They aren't real branches of magic, and the reason why we don't learn any spells is because they aren't real. They aren't an actual thing. It's literally just theory. And real quick, I just want to show you that this Reddit post, I'm not going to read the whole thing like I read the lore. I just want to show you this. This is from, as you can see, completely crazy 22, a user, a year ago. How do the Pigswick schools fit in with real schools of magic? It's obvious that it was meant to be a knockoff of Ravenwood, and you can see here when they describe their school of magic, what it is they are describing the original Ravenwood schools just with slight twists to them. So for example, you can see here, like, one I think is really good is Tempest and Storm. Tempest magic is about duality and hidden meaning. Like the tide, it's about ebb and the flow of life. The surface is stormy to be sure, but beneath it is a dark and quiet, and the waters are deep beyond imagining. What this is referencing is Storm's kind of dual aspect of them, where you have things like Rusalka's Wrath, where it could potentially blade you or weakness you. I actually don't know if that's a thing anymore, but there's also things like Wild Bolt. There was Insane Bolt. My point is that Storm is all about duality. What these schools are in Pigswick Academy is the theoretical side of the magic, just rebranded to be something else. I want to put this in a way for you to simply understand, right? You've all gone to the store in your life, I'm sure, right? The grocery store. Like, everyone's gone to the grocery store. You go to the grocery store, you go to your cereal aisle, right? And there is a box of Frosted Flakes. And right below that box of Frosted Flakes, there is a box that's called Vanilla Cornflakes, right? And you're like, okay, these Vanilla Cornflakes are like $1. These Frosted Flakes are like $3. But the Frosted Flakes taste better and are more in depth. But if you look right below them, there is a cheap knockoff version that is a bit cheaper. That is what Pigswick Academy is. Pigswick Academy is the cheap knockoff cereal of cereals or of schools. I don't know. That's my point, is that this magic is not real. It's not an actual in-depth thing, and you can tell that by how the school is run and also by the Triwizard Tournament in general. It is a very rare select few who actually learn magic, and when they do learn the magic, like say that guy who cheats in the Triwizard Tournament, guess what school symbols he has? Guess what actual magic he uses? It's Ravenwood magic. So, surprise, surprise, it turns out that Pigswick Academy magic is just Wizard City magic rebranded. And this is also true for literally every part of the school. Do you see people using Wysteria magic a single time throughout the entire world? No, because it's just not real. And it's the same with like even Chester Drawers, right? You have to fight Chester Drawers. And what type of magic does he use? He uses life magic. The point is that even the professors are using Ravenwood magic and not Wysteria magic because, as I said, it doesn't exist. It's really just that simple. If it did exist in its own method, if it was a real branch of magic, it would be used at some point throughout all of Wysteria, right? But it's not. It's not used in the main Wysteria quest. It's not used in the Tower of the Elephant. It's just not used because it doesn't exist. So I hope that answered a few questions that you might have had. Now, just the ultimate cap off of this video, the reason why you can't learn Pigswick Academy magic, you can't learn Ember magic, and why you're given no spells in Wysteria is because the magic isn't real. It would just be another version of your school's spell. The spell symbol would be exactly the same. It would look exactly the same. It is just kind of there. Technically, if you want to talk about Wysteria spells exist in the form of the Wysteria Spellament Pack. Now, obviously, no one wants to get actual spellaments rather than, say, you know, an actual spell, but this just kind of furthers my point. You can see the Wysteria Spellament Pack has pigs that look like they're from Pigswick Academy doing magic, but the symbol isn't the Pigswick Academy symbol, it's the main symbol, and that's because Pigswick Academy magic doesn't exist. Now, that's all I really wanted to go over today. I hope that I taught you something, and I hope people can finally stop asking me what would Pigswick Academy spells look like, because I'm so tired of it. I'm not kidding. I've literally gotten the recommendation so many times, and the reason why I've never done it is because it doesn't exist. And I think the problem with this is, and the problem with a lot of some of these recommendations, is people don't listen to the lore, they don't look at the lore, and somehow it went over everyone's heads that asked this, that Pigswick Academy is just a cheap knockoff of Ravenwood. I don't know how, I don't know why, but that's what it is. But that's really it for today. That's everything I wanted to go over. I hope that I can stop getting recommended this recommendation now. Obviously, I don't hate being recommended video ideas. I'm just tired of getting one that is physically impossible. Because lore-wise, if you pay attention to the lore, it is literally impossible for us to learn a spell here. What we would learn is literally just a cheap knockoff trick of something that we already know. Any spells that they have are spells that we already have. That's kind of the point of the world and what I wanted to get across. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you still want to see a Pigswick Academy spell? I don't know why you would want to. Really, it would just end up being like the Wysteria spell element pack, and that kind of already is a Wysteria spell. But that's it. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video. Adios.